Many of you got up very, very early this morning to be able to get here, stood in line in the cold rain, because we are determined not to forget. Many of you are the living legacy of those that we lost. So you gather every year to remember. Some of you bear the scars because you are a survivor, and you cannot forget from day to day. And there are many first responders that are here that when they return to this day, they remember again the days and days that they spent serving. There's very likely, as there usually is, someone that's a rescue worker that came here that is the first time that you have returned. We will remember with you today, and we're determined to do that. This past week, I was visiting with a staff member who said to me that not only was she not alive when the bombing happened, her parents weren't even married yet. Yes, that made me feel old. But it was also a reminder again of the importance of us gathering together to make sure that there is no generation that rises up that does not remember, that we continue to remind each other that we have learned the lessons of hatred, of anger, of hope, of love, of sacrifice, of gratitude, and of resilience. And we need to pass those lessons on to the next generation and make sure that they learn the lessons of history. The nation was shocked 30 years ago today when we saw the devastation and the loss. We lost children and neighbors, and we lost federal employees that were just sitting at their desk serving their fellow Americans on a Wednesday morning. We asked why. We wondered who we had become, and we found practical ways to serve people as the flags went to half-mast. Law enforcement and first responders and volunteers by the thousands came out that day. We lose track of this, but the FBI conducted more than 28,000 interviews, followed 43,000 investigative leads, and amassed 3.5 tons of evidence to be able to prosecute that case. They reviewed nearly 1 billion pieces of information. We're still grateful to all those who have served in so many ways. We're even grateful to the law enforcement that's literally standing in the rain outside this building to continue to be able to keep us safe here in this place. So we gather to remember. Thousands of years ago, the children of Israel, they left out of slavery and captivity, and they crossed over the Jordan River. And when they crossed over the Jordan, God instructed them with these words. This is from Joshua chapter 4. He said, in the future, when your children ask you, what do these stones mean? Because they gathered stones and put them on the side of the river after they crossed. When he said, what do these stones mean? Tell your children that the flow of the Jordan was cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. When it crossed the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. These stones are to be a memorial to the people of Israel forever. Weeks ago, as Susan mentioned, or just last week, I guess now, when we planted the sapling of the survivor tree on the Capitol lawn, it was very intentional. It's on the west side of the Capitol, directly next to a path. There's a plaque that's right there next to it. On that plaque, it reminds people of why that tree is there. It's surrounded by 200-year-old trees there on the Capitol lawn. And in the centuries to come, that plaque will remain, and that sapling will grow onto a beautiful tree that'll look like our survivor tree. And people for generations in the future will walk the west side of the Capitol and will reflect on what happened here, no matter what year they stop to look at it. And they will tell the story of out-of-control hatred and irrational acts against a government and against a people and against children. And it will remind us of what we're capable of, but it will also remind people of the people of Oklahoma and what we are capable of. As we love, as we forgive, as we set a tone for the rest of the nation to say this is how we deal with issues where we disagree and resolve. Something we need as a nation. As we gather this exceptionally wet day before Easter, we'll tell today our children and people here why this memorial stands and what we have personally learned from this time period. I stood with some folks that had not been at the memorial just a few days ago at sunset, and I learned a new thing about the memorial even as I stood with them. I stood at the survivor tree around sundown and told them the story about that tree, and in the middle of the story, bats flew out of the tree, and I learned a new thing. There are bats that live in the survivor tree. Yes, I jumped. Let's set the example for the rest of the nation. Let's tell them our story again so that the nation doesn't forget. Let's teach the nation how to love and forgive. Let's remind each other of dark days in the past and how God walks with us through those dark days. Even in the valley of the shadow, God does not forget us, and we will not forget.